Push the weight enough flex. Flex the livest one in the six. Fit the runner, boy, you nigga, no question. You will run a motherfucker high stepping. Hey, you never had a big enough weapon. Motherfucker never learned your lesson. I'm an 88 pack nigga. I'm an 88 pack nigga. I mean, day walker, drink blood, fangs out, full moon, motherfucker change like a hoe. I'm just a nigga from the hood trying to stack a little cheddar for the money.
All right. I want to get straight to the smoke because I feel it's important, and you know, we're gonna there's gonna be a lot of lessons, a lot of gems dropped in this live stream. So salute to the family. I see everybody here: Jeff Spark, Derek Gaines, Mark Wunderlich, Coach Hudson, salute. Jimmy Bernard, Jose, Eric Jordan, always supporting, salute. Mac of the South, Mr. Tiptoe, Sam Mack. Come on in. I'm going to ask y'all to share the video. Like the video, share the video. We are our own algorithm. Let's not leave it up to Miguel to do anything for us. I'm being dead serious, especially about the topic that we're going to be discussing this evening, because it's not a game. It's not a game. And y'all might not see it how I see it, and that's okay. But I'm going to bring another perspective to it and why this whole situation aggravates me to no end. Rod Neal, salute. Share the video, y'all. Y'all make sure I go subscribe to Bear Cave Entertainment. That's my third channel. Matter of fact, before I go any further, I will put that link in the description for y'all. So y'all can, this is my backup channel, my third one, because YouTube is very weird. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to post that. That's my nerd channel, but I'll be triple streaming from there. Y'all make sure y'all go subscribe to Bear Cave Entertainment. Let me pin this, and trust me, the nerddom will be there soon. I'll be back soon on that channel. So there it is. We support, that's what we do. And we're going to use social media for what it's for. Now, for those of you that don't know, or y'all don't know by now, there's a rift between our sisters. Let me go on record saying this. I am not taking sides, because I know a lot of you foolish mortals who love in-house situations. Y'all like to amplify beef. And in this instance, I'm going to tell you why I don't like it and why it's ridiculous and why I hope Laila Ali doesn't fight Claressa. I'll tell you why. First and foremost, I was on the phone with Stormy, and we was talking about this, and we're on the same page in reference to this whole thing, why it's bad, why I don't want to see it. And I'm going to talk, why I don't want to see it is why it's bad. And we're going to discuss that. But Stormy said something that was funny, but what makes things funny is when there's an element of truth behind it. And he said, Drew, you know what? You know what Laila Ali did to what Laila Ali did to Claressa? I said, what? He said, she Claire Huxtable her ass. Now, some of you are my age or our age. Some of you might be a little younger. Y'all might not know what it means. Y'all might know Felicia Rashad played a character in the Cosby Show called Claire Huxtable. But if you did not watch the show, you didn't know why that was funny. I was cracking up in my vehicle. I was cracking up because that's exactly what she did to her. She spoke to her by way of social media. Since everybody wants to run to social media, she addressed it on social media. And she did not like it. Salute Tay-Tay. Salute Shaba. Salute. Pooh Man. Salute. Jose, what's up? John Pound. Salute. Salute to everybody in the chat. Like and share the video. Go subscribe to Bear Cave Entertainment, please. Claire Huxtable was a mother in the Cosby Show. She was a lawyer by trade, but she was a full-time parent. and they had a bunch of kids, and sometimes she would have to lay down the law. But the way she laid down the law in every episode that she had to, she did it so respectable and it was so professional. It was not profane. And one of the things she always said when she was about to tear into you was, let the records show. In other words, look at these receipts. The way Laila Ali, I think that's her YouTube channel. The way, I mean, what a way to introduce your YouTube channel by addressing this foolishness, because this is foolishness. Now, I knew that Claressa, our sister Claressa, had a gripe with Laila. Never knew what it was. I always thought, maybe they had a rift behind the scenes, and Claressa, can we all agree that Claressa is always on 10? No matter if you're a male or a female, she's always on 10. She's ready to throw hands. She was running around talking about how she'd beat up Keith Thurman. I'm so glad Keith didn't really respond to that. Keith is a grown-ass man. Let's stop. All right? She was talking about how she spars men. I'm saying, well, I guarantee you those dudes took it light, except that Russian dude or whoever he was. I'll beat up Keith Thurman. I'll beat up this guy. I'll beat up Jake Paul. She was in sparring and dude dropped her with a left hook. Caught her real good and he didn't even throw it fast. It was hard enough to knock on her ass to remind her, hey, listen, you're the GOAT, but you're a female, please stop. And then she ran around talking about he had some crap in his gloves. Look, I didn't investigate that too harsh. Hope he didn't. But my point is, we all agree that there's a certain place that people remain in, right? I'll give you an example of that. If I'm sitting at a table and I'm surrounded by 5 doctors and they're all brain surgeons by trade, why would I open up my mouth and say anything? What the hell do I have to contribute to that conversation about brain surgery? I'll be sitting there, I'll be the quietest one in the room. Now, Claressa, and I say this with love, sis, you need to shut the F up. Because if you had anything to say to rebuttal anything that Laila laid out, I like to think you'd have jumped on live and did it by now. You've had about 3 days or more. Laila brought receipts, and this is the first time I even entertained what was going on between them. And it's frustrating. This is why I don't want the fight to happen, because it's not coming from a place of pass the torch to me. It's not coming from a place of this fight could work wonders for female boxing. This is coming from a place of resentment from Claressa. Her mind's not right. And there's 2 possible outcomes from this, driven by one thing. One possible outcome is she can go in there and fight Laila and mess around and lose, in which a lot of people, she'll find that a lot of people that have been waiting for her downfall will be on her ass. And it'll be unjust, but she'll know what hate is beyond what she feels she gets now. Number 2, she could beat Laila and not get any credit for it. It's like, what did you do that for? The woman's almost 50. Why would you do that? It's stupid. But one thing is for sure. The people that are saying, I want to see this fight, you guys don't know boxing, number 1. And number 2, you love this dysfunction. Let me go on record saying that I don't like this fight, because it means nothing. It does nothing. It's every bit as irrelevant as how did y'all feel when Jake Paul called out a 60-year-old Mike Tyson. You remember that feeling you had? Like, yo, what are you doing, man? Remember all those conversations we had? Oh man, he wants to beat up on a black athlete, a quote unquote hero. Remember that feeling we had? Like, man, why Jake doing this? Why can't he's a ranked cruiserweight? Why can't he fight Jai Opatai? Uh-oh. Y'all want to talk about that? Because he's ranked as cruiserweight. Why can't he pick on someone close to his age? Why he want to pick on Mike Tyson? Remember that? I still don't understand why he's picking on little ass Tank Davis, other than dollar signs. I don't like that either. Why is Claressa wanting smoke with somebody that didn't do anything to her? Now, Claressa, some of her fans will say, well, she didn't do nothing for her anyway. Yes, she did. Stop it. You guys are troublemakers. You ever had those two kids in the schoolyard that were facing off, but they really didn't want to do it? You know how they started fighting, right? Somebody pushed them into somebody else, and then they start fighting. Y'all remember those days? Okay, you hit me, then I'm gonna hit him, and then you hit me, and I'm gonna hit, and then get out of here. It's so childish. Y'all go back that far? Instigators. Y'all should be leaving this alone. Claressa been talking, and in one live stream, and this is only a part one, in one live stream, she laid out the facts, like Claire Huxtable. Let the record show. If Claressa has anything to say, she'd have said it by now. If she's still standing on it, yeah, you said all that, I still want to fight. That's a testament to her mental right now. And what she doesn't have is somebody to pull her coattail that's close to her, that loves her, and say, look, sis, you need to let this go. Please let this go. You need to let this go. And this ain't a shot at Papoose. That's my dogs. But this is where he needs to put on his man cape and say, hey, yo, queen, stop. This ain't Remy. And you're going to look, even if you beat her ass, you're going to look bad, because it's not going to negate the fact that everything she said still stands. This is just sour grapes at this point. Let it go. I'll stop right there. Stormy, your thoughts, brother. Good evening.
Good evening. Hey, man. Well, you know, I pretty much share a great deal of the same sentiments regarding this. I've had a chance to listen to a few others with their thoughts on it, and I think that a lot of people are just kind of missing what's significant. Laila has been retired for like 17, 18 years. She had a career. She walked away from the sport undefeated and is a Hall of Famer and is related to one of the most famous fighters in the history of the sport, being her dad, Muhammad. We live in an age and time where there's a great deal of disrespect from, I guess, is it the Gen Z?
Yes.
And they have no consideration, reverence, or respect for what came before. It's almost like they have this adopted mindset that things started when they arrived on the scene. And taking counsel, taking wisdom, taking advisement from anyone that may have a little length of life experience or even specific experience pertaining to whatever is relatable to them. There's a resentment. There's not even a thirst or a quest for seeking knowledge, seeking wisdom, seeking understanding, seeking enlightenment, seeking development. And that's how you kind of know that we're pretty much at the end of the age of growth.
Yeah.
Because once you reach that point, the next thing up is destruction. And we can kind of see that happening all around us across the globe, with our nations, with how society has fallen off. And being a person who's been around for a little bit, is disheartening to see this. Some people would even try to argue and go against what I'm saying, but it's really evident. It's right before you. Even now, to the point and degree that people will choose to follow a certain path that's not lit. There's utter darkness. There's uncertainty, possible detrimental to your health and well-being and everything, and they still just walk right into that path with that IDGAF mindset. And it's a shame. The only thing that you can do to combat and to war against that is how you handle the nest where you come from, your home, your family, your children, and what keys you give them to be able to make it day in and day out when they leave the nest, when they leave the confines of home. And that doesn't mean that they'll be okay, because we have the conflict from the other side that seeks chaos. But it can start at home. It can start with you and how you handle things within your domicile. And that's because there will be people out there who can bear witness to that light that you have, or the enlightenment that you bring, and they can be drawn to that in a positive manner. But just like that, there will be those who want to put that light out because they like doing things in the dark. They like harming others. That old saying that was in a movie is like, some people just want to watch the world burn. It's very true.
Yeah.
It's very true. So when Laila came out with her video this week, I was curious to hear what she had to say, simply because she had been inundated with all types of inquiry for a long time. And she kept telling people, I'll address that when I can. I'll get to that when. And what I admired about that is it wasn't that important to her. However, when she chose to address, you can tell the meticulous care that she took in addressing it, because she's of that ilk that once I do this, I'm done. Which is why she hadn't addressed fighting, which is why she hadn't addressed other specifics that the peanut gallery may have, because of what she didn't say.
Right.
But when I said that she Huxtabled the situation with Claressa, if you watched Claire do her thing on the Cosby Show, whenever she had to step out and represent, she had all of her T's crossed and all of her I's dotted. And like you said, she will use that line, "Let the record show."
Yes.
Because in the series on the TV show, she, Felicia Rashad, played an attorney. So when she did open her mouth, she had to have all of the facts.
Yeah.
She had to be able to make her point.
Yeah.
And she had to be able to end the conversation in that instance. That's an admirable quality, because being able to reflect back on her character, Felicia Rashad's character that she played in that series. And when was that series, Drew? In the late 80s, right?
Yeah.
When you say that's just about 30, almost 40 years away from now, right?
Yeah. The last of the Cosby Show that ended when I was in high school. I want to say that was 94, but it was already on air from elementary school for me. So I think the Cosby Show had a little over a decade run. I could be wrong, but yeah.
So what I'm getting at is, how about me being able to associate what Laila did with the woman that played on that series and how she represented on that television show? You see, that means that Miss Rashad had an impact.
Yes. Yeah.
That means that Laila, who is of our generation, was impacted.
Yep.
No wretchedness, no profanity, no stereotypical behavior, no hands on the hip or popping of the neck.
Right.
Full educated articulation, well dressed. My goodness, she knows how to dress.
Yeah.
And nothing overly sensational that's disrespectful to her or her family. And might I also add, she's a wife.
Yeah.
She's a mother.
Yes, sir.
She's a businesswoman. Reputed. There's something undisputed about that. Because that's a bar that's set that many fall short of to this day. Currently, many fall short and will never raise to that level, never elevate to such status and stature of respectability. Those are my thoughts, brother.
You got a cash app from the brother Eric Jordan. Let me get his super chat. He said, Laila Ninja Sword, nothing but them facts and funk feelings. Yeah, Eric, you right, man. I mean, she really did. Power to my nigger sword. But you know what though? She did it. I wouldn't call it a nigger sword exactly. But the fact that Claressa been quiet the last 48 hours is a testament to how she feels and everything that Stormy said. What do we always talk about in reference to our community? How we want to make it better. We often talk about the black household, and more on that on Pep Talk tomorrow. More on that on Pep Talk tomorrow, because there's a lot of things I want to discuss. I always talk about the black household, how we need to get back to our roots, family oriented. Unfortunately, the demographic that Claressa Shields is reaching out to is not the ones that is to be celebrated. For example, the sensei said, Laila Ali is a wife. She's a mother. She's a businesswoman. She's quiet and out of the way. I see her on the Food Network. She got a lot of things going on, and she literally had to stop what she was doing to address this nonsense. Whether she gets in the ring with her or not, that's entirely up to her. But I'm hoping she doesn't because of where it's coming from. What does Claressa Shields represent outside that ring? And this is a very, very, very serious question. We celebrate her accomplishments in the ring. She wants all the smoke in all directions. That's a good thing as a fighter. I appreciate there's not a presser that I've gone to in New York that she didn't show up at. Like the big ones. She's always there. She's supporting Shakur. She supports the events. You know, she's there. And for that, I am grateful. I appreciate her. Where, in my opinion, she falls short is what she feels she needs to do to draw more attention to her and the demographic that she's reaching out to. I'm a firm I stand against nigga nonsense. It's enraging. It's enraging. Nigga nonsense is enraging. The worst of us have the biggest mouths. The worst of us are online hiding behind avatars, ghost accounts, and they're the biggest troublemakers. Why? Because they're troubled. That's a bar. The troublemakers are troubled. You can tell by their voice. You can tell by what they type. You can tell by the positions that they take when they get on these panels. You can hear it, that there's something not well with them. I don't like Claressa Shields getting on like at the weigh-ins with her ass out. I don't like it. I don't like it. When she got on that stage and her ass was out, there was a little boy standing to her right, and he's a little boy, and he's like looking at her or whatever, and I'm like, all right, come on, bro. What are you gonna tell me? What, the women go to the beach dressed like that? Guess what? There was a reason why I didn't bring my male kid relatives to many beaches, because I knew there was women walking around like that. I didn't want them around that. I'm an adult. I make the decisions. I decide what the kids look at. Now, I know there's a portion of her that wants to be a sex symbol. Where does that come from? I believe that, I could be wrong. I think, didn't she say she was SA'd when she was younger? That's a bad, horrible thing. I don't know if she got help for that, as far as talking to someone, a professional, not her friends, not people online, because talking online that a million people hear you, that might be therapeutic, but that's not therapy. Okay, she's dark-skinned, so automatically, and this is a problem in our community, you know, they say, hey man, you know, the darker you are, the worse you are. We do it to each other. That quit acting light-skinned thing, that's a shot we throw at each other in the black community. You've heard me use it dozens of times. I'm doing it because I'm throwing shots. I'm doing it to be funny. It is what it is, quit acting light-skinned. But that's a dysfunction within the black community. I remember when her teeth were crooked. Call it what it is. She was a nappy-headed little girl from Flint, Michigan. And she had to literally fight to get where she is today. All my life I had to fight. Well, this goes back to what I've been saying. Some of us, we're so distracted by the past that we don't count the blessings that God has given us. And you will disregard all of that because you 100% you're in a fight. All your life you're in a fight. You got belts and gold medals and everything else. You have people that really honored you and wanted your success. You don't hear none of that. You're laser focused. That's a problem. Because I can tell that she has trust issues. She has a lot of things that she never addressed on a professional level. I can tell. and getting the okay from the negative part of our community, that's not going to slice it. Young lady, that's not going to slice it. The worst of the worst is enabling this garbage. Auntie Jenny, salute. And it's upsetting because this don't need to happen. She her wanting to be a boxer and be a sex symbol, and she's rapping. Do you understand? I'm going to ask y'all a question. Some of y'all got daughters or nieces. Who would you rather your daughter be as far as where they're at right now? And this is not a trick question. Laila Ali or Claressa Shields? Think about that. Accolades is great. Claressa is eclipsing Laila Ali. Eclipsing her as far as accolades. But temperament, family structure, the way you speak, drama. Do y'all know, again, Stormy pointed out, Laila is married. She's a mother, a wife, and she's pretty much self-made. It's a little more than her father's name. She's her own person. Claressa, also self-made. But what's all this shit? Listen, I got love for Pap, man. And I don't like what Remy Ma put my brother through. I don't like that. But while he was dealing with that, why was Claressa dealing with him? Because it wasn't done. Why did she immerse herself into that? That's the testament to her maturity, which is very low. Very, very low. What woman immerse? And so when men say things like, hey man, sisters, you know, you complaining about this dude, but you picked him. This is what I'm talking about. Somebody block, cast block. I didn't ask your opinion about who's a goofball. You see, and this is what I'm talking about. I was just talking about agitators, people that want stuff. You in here dropping Fred's name. I don't care about my brother Fred. I don't care about his opinion. He has his opinion. I have my opinion. I'm not concerned about who cooked who. Stop coming in my chat trying to drop names and, you know, talk crazy about anybody. Pap's my guy. Stop doing that. You see, I just told y'all there's troublemakers. Stop doing that shit. Troublemakers. I got love for Laila. I got love for Claressa. This would be a uncle talking to her. Like, hey, man, Claressa, where's somebody in Claressa's camp that's not on her fucking payroll that's going to say, hey, look, babe, this right here, leave it alone. This is the part where she has to put her ego to the side and say, look, you know what? Forget it. You know what would make her a big person? And she says, you know what? You know what, Laila? You right. You right. You right. You know me. I just want all the smoke. But you right though, Laila. You right. You absolutely right. And I'm gonna fall back, Laila, and move on to the next. Does she have the maturity level and the temperament to say, yo, look, you know what? I was wrong about that. You ain't got to fight the world, Claressa. You're the GOAT. The world got to come to you. Any woman that says they're the GOAT, they got to come see you. Laila had her time. This is your time. But flipping on someone that totally supported you, that's not the way to go, young lady. Combos with Cam and that super chat salute. She says all facts 100. Blessings to you. I'm on the job, queen. This is Stormy, in your opinion, what would you tell Claressa to do moving forward? Because she hasn't responded, and Laila says she has a part 2. I hope she don't say, yeah, I'm gonna fight you. I hope not, but these ladies are gonna do what they're gonna do. But in your opinion, how if you was in Claressa's ear, how would you tell her to handle this?
Though I would be shocked if she were to take this advisement. If she can't do what I'm about to say, she shouldn't respond to Laila at all. She needs to exercise something that she knows not a lot about in humility.
Yeah.
And do a public apology, but a private one first.
Yes.
Private one first to Laila, to let her know that she was way out of turn in pocket. She allowed the streets and the times to get the better of her judgment.
Yes.
And that she will seek counseling, that she will seek the opportunity to reestablish a form of trust with her, because the way that they were introduced was because they had something in common as far as the professional sport of boxing. But she would like to take the time and step back and make some reevaluations, and that let Laila know that she has also got a public apology coming, but she has to speak to her directly first. And that would be a tremendous step toward her inviting something very positive back into her space of negativity.
Yes, sir.
And then understand that I said that it will require something that she hasn't shown in quite a long time, and that thing about humility, because you see, we live in times now where people feel like to be apologetic for wronging someone is a show of weakness.
That's right.
But it's actually a show of strength, because when you are able to exercise that, you're building a bridge or mending a fence.
Right.
When you can't do that, nothing gets built.
Yeah.
And so therefore there is no plane to cross. There's no chain to pull upon. There's no rope for rescue. You see? And that's very important. So those are my thoughts. You asked me what do I think, and I think that that would go a tremendous way forward toward getting something done.
I agree. I need y'all to understand this rivalry doesn't need to happen. And I know some of you might want to say, hey man, I'm keeping it boxing. Nick J, salute, Queens of the Ring in the building. This shit is upsetting me. It really is. It really is. Because let me say this about Claressa. We're not here to drag her. I'm here to say I understand her mental state. I understand. And she might be on some, ain't nothing wrong with me, ain't nothing wrong with my. Okay, look, I understand. I understand. Just know that I'm on the outside looking in, And I've heard enough about your past to understand where all of this is coming from. I could beat Keith Thurman, and I beat up Jake Paul, and I beat up a man, and I beat men in sparring, and I'm this dog, and then I see you get knocked on the floor by some Russian dude who is not Keith Thurman, who is not even Jake Paul. In fact, he may have been lighter than you. He may have been. He knocked you on your behind. I said, well, there you go right there. And I never did a video about it. I don't think I did. But I said, you see, she got some shit going on. She got some shit going on that she needs help. And Brent Fox, my brother, salute. She needs, like I said, she needs an OG or her man. Pap is her man. Now's the time you pull her to the side and forward your information. But you know, the difficulty is, in her mind, she's a boss, and all she knows is that she got to where she is because of her dum-dums. That's what we used to call them, your dum-dums. You know why we call them dum-dums? Because when I was in elementary school, junior high school, you use your dum-dums instead of using your boca. You find out that it takes strength to defuse a situation and walk away from it, even if you know you can kick that person's ass. But if you lead with your fists, at worst, you get suspended from school. That's happened to me a bunch of times. But you know when it gets a little real? When you're doing the same thing in high school and you're a little bigger and the police show up. And it's like, yo, I could really get arrested. And let me tell you, that arrest follows you for your whole life by using your dum-dums. In her instance, her dum-dums has netted her a lot of dividends. But in this case, this is a lot of ego and stupidity fueling her. I already told y'all the two possibilities. She beats Laila. What has she done? Beat a 50-year-old woman. That's what she's done. She ain't getting no props for that. But there's something she wants to get off her chest. She wants to be Laila. When she looks in the mirror, she don't see a beautiful black queen, because that's what Claressa is. That's what she is, but she don't see that. I don't care what she could tell you, anything. I know, I see it, man. She still sees that nappy-headed little girl with crooked teeth. Getting in the fights with Remy Ma over Papoose, that's not going to get you any credit. You know what gets you credit? And we all know, judging from the last situation, Pap's a good dude. But you know what would be better? If none of that, if we didn't know about any of that, and Pap got away from Remy, and then you see them. And Pap could tell you, hey, man, I got away from that. I just met Claressa and, whatever. When we're not in your business. Y'all can't even tell me how Laila Ali's husband looked. Keeping people out your business. Can y'all tell me how LL Cool J's wife looked that he's been with forever? Can you tell me? You understand?
I know how Laila's husband looked because he used to play receiver for the Chicago Bears. I remember the guy.
But no one knows that, Stormy.
Yeah.
I know how the brother looks.
I know what you're saying. But
yeah,
I was just saying, but if you notice, they have a rapport where that's not important for someone to be on Front Street.
Right.
And she moved way beyond the limelight type of thing. She tried her hand at acting. She's done some different things as far as career-oriented goals, but then she found herself to be a businesswoman, which is a great channeling of energy and spirit. Because when you're able to channel things, you can funnel your way through to a place of positivity, and she's managed to do that. And much respect to her for achieving that, which is one of the reasons why, if you ask me, I do believe Claressa did initially take a liking to her early on.
Yeah.
But I also believe that there was something there underlying because of who Laila was and who Laila's dad is.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's unfortunate because, in conversation that I had with you, I gave liken to the film Rocky V, where, Rocky had took in Tommy Gunn.
Yeah.
Tommy Gunn, who had aspirations to go to Philadelphia and learn boxing from former heavyweight champion Rocky, who beat all the odds and everything and became a fan favorite and all of that. And he thought that he could bring his crude skill and ability there and can pick up something from Rocky. But he was nothing more than what we also find in everyday life, an opportunist.
Yep.
Because when Rocky was trying to give Tommy Gunn what Mickey gave him, which was character development, the understanding of the game and the sport, the understanding of how things work and how I can prepare you to go forward to one day you might not even need me, you'll be able to carry forward.
That's right.
Tommy Gunn was only looking for money. And he was like, man, I'm doing this and I done won all these fights and we ain't making no money and whatever. And Rocky was like, hey, money will come, brother. Let me show you. I don't want to hear that. And Adrian told Rocky, you trying to give to a stranger what you should be giving to your son.
That's right.
Look at your son. He needs you. There were moments in the Rocky franchise that Sylvester Stallone was able to write down real life circumstances and situations that fighters go through to a degree that as a collective, the series brought so much to light and there's so much to take from that page. And here we have a real life situation. The only difference with this being a real life situation is Laila being in the Rocky role graduated beyond where Rocky was capable of graduating because Rocky was stunted by not only ignorance but lack of education and hard luck.
Right.
Laila took certain principles and made changes in her life, because if you listen to her early in her career of boxing, she told you the reason that she got into boxing, she happened to be watching Christy Martin on a Don King card and was like, I could do that. I could whoop that girl's butt or whatever. And that's kind of like where it started. But she was also a young lady who was a bit wayward. And part of that was because of her upbringing. Right. She was estranged from her dad because her dad and her mom, and that was, and I'm only saying, I'm not being judgmental when I say this, but the reality is Champ cheated with her mom on his previous wife.
Yes.
And she's a result born of that, and so there were some things that took place, but you can imagine as a child growing up, she had some issues and things, that brought a fighter out of her. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So again, there are some things that are relatable. Big sister, big auntie to little sis, but notice again how she handled the situation when she decided to speak. That shows that growth and stage that where she graduated from. Now, that doesn't mean that Claressa can never do that herself, but she needs to start taking accountability to put herself in a position to possibly do that because things are really not good right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's it's I don't know what else to say about this, man. I just want to be very clear that I don't want this, because it doesn't need to happen. It does nothing. All it does is quench the bloodlust for people that don't know any better. And if you're just pulling up, just rewind the show, and I explain. Me and Stormy explain why we don't like this. Explains why we don't like this, why we don't want it. Okay. It's bad for both parties. Now, I don't know what Layla's gonna say. I hope if she does part 2, I hope that she says, I said what I said. She has a lot of growing to do, and I refuse. I don't need to. I'm 48. I'm a mother. Why would I do it? And you know what? Here's what I'm willing to bet. At the end of the day, her husband understands that his wife is a career woman. She makes her own decisions. She's been in that ring 1,000,000 times prior to him. At the end of the day, it'll be her decision to make. But I'm willing to bet he told her if she's if he's on our wavelength, I'll say that. I'm almost said something else, but if he's on our if he's on our same wavelength in reference to the situation, I would say that he probably told his wife, man, look, just respond to her, do what you do, and let it go. You have nothing to prove. She's the one that has everything to prove. She's the one, heavy as a head that wears a crown. But you know what? Claressa is so goddamn real. I don't see many sisters coming up saying, yo, let's get the smoke, because she's beating everybody. Now, she's going to beat everybody until she doesn't beat anybody. But this right here is not the way to go. And out of principle, I think Claressa wants this fight. I mean, all of you hardcore Claressa fans, I'm also looking out for y'all, because she goes in here angry with clouded judgment. What if Laila box her face in? How's that going to affect her brand? You lost to a 50-year-old woman. All of that talking you did, and you got in there and you fought someone that fought you back with above average skill, and you lost to Ali's daughter. That's not going to do her well. She don't want to deal with that. Look, Claressa, Laila said what she said. Okay, she showed receipts based off of what I've seen. All right, and she even played your responses. Let's just say you overreacted, and I think you'll be more of an adult just to say, you know what? I didn't see it that way. Now that I've seen it, I was in my feelings a kind of way. You know what? Let me take a step back. Laila, I owe you an apology. All right? Let's not do this. We don't need to do this. Because she was everything and sweet to her, man. When she was everything and sweet to her. And I knew they had a problem for a couple of years, but I never knew. The way Laila broke it down, it's sort of embarrassing. Because I'm looking at Claressa like, babe, what? If this was a relative of mine, I would clearly pull her coattail and say, look, Claressa, don't do this. What could she possibly say? What is she going to do? Pull up her receipts, say, no, I have you on video saying this. And no, there's nothing there, bro. Because if it was, we'd have heard it by now. What would be 3 days in? We'd have heard it by now. She got a team full of people to sign contracts and everything else. Meanwhile, do you have those same people that can dig up everything that Laila said that set you off? Everything that she said when she was talking about the Breakfast Club interview, I didn't hear anything that was disrespectful. I didn't hear it.
Well, understand that I explained this to you too when we had spoken.
Mm-hmm.
She was on the Breakfast Club first.
Yes, sir.
Claressa was.
Yes.
And that's what those morons do. They try to stir stuff. That's what they do. We got it even now with other fighters. They're still doing it. But I wanted to say this about the possibility of fighting.
Mm.
Laila's been retired for almost 20 years. She's in her 50s now. There's no fight.
Mhm.
There's no fight. And I wish that people would stop talking like that. Because this is a hypothetical that I don't even want to wrap my mind around, but I'm going to say this.
Ridiculous.
If it did happen and Claressa hurt the woman, where would y'all be as far as that? Because she's 20 years removed from doing this. If she defeated Claressa, how bad would that be for Claressa?
Claressa, exactly.
So there's no win in this situation, but the disrespect comes for anybody who is hinging any thought on there being a fight.
That's what I'm saying, man.
Anyone who's hinging a thought on there being a fight, there's something wrong with you. Because you need to take that type of energy and put it into people like Gervonta Tank Davis, who's still young enough and in a prime of a career where he should be fighting his contemporaries. And some of the other fighters around the sport of boxing on the women's side in division, like Lauren Price, who priced herself out of a fight with Michaela Mayer.
Yep.
A fight that could have been made. Michaela said there was just no money for what she was asking for. And see, these are the type of things, like I said, you learn by watching the sport.
That's right.
I am more than happy with Claressa Shields challenging herself against her contemporaries in the sport of boxing. And for anyone that thinks there's no one out there for her to fight, there's plenty of fights out there for her to fight. All she has to do is make some adjustments, like make a certain weight class or see another fighter for another go round and things of that nature. And there is always someone new on the horizon coming along. You can bet your bottom dollar on that. I've talked about it before, and even long after I'm gone, it will persist. See, this whole thing about the interest in them battling, why, for what, and who does it serve? There is a common known factor about Americans. I won't speak for everyone outside the US, but in this country, people love train wrecks. Why do you think horror films are box office blockbusters? People want to see blood and guts. They want to see brains. They want to see all types of wicked things happening for their entertainment. But how many of those people who tune in and dial in for that type of fare are willing to sacrifice their own rear end for the betterment or advancement of us as a society? Not many. You can see it all the time. When George Floyd lost his life, why didn't somebody go over there and push that cop off of him? Do you see what I'm saying?
That's right.
It's like, would you want someone to do that if you were in Mr. Floyd's position? Of course you would. But see, this is what I'm talking about, understanding about what's important as opposed to what you want as your entertainment. But there also I'm of an age where I could say there also used to be a time when television went off at a certain hour. That was it for tonight, y'all. The American national anthem would play and a flag would be blowing in the wind on your TV, and then there was static until about 6:30 or 7 the next morning. But now that you can watch something 24/7, 365, where you don't even turn it off. You turn off before it turns off. Huh? And you get all information under overload. And it's done desensitized you to the things that you should have true sensitivities about. And it has made you a person who contributes to the foolishness. Reserved judgment. I just spoke about how this woman addressed.
Yeah.
And I said with aplomb, that was about as well as you could do it. But people still will say, but I want to see if she's going to talk about fighting her. If you listen to what she said, there's no fight. Her fighting days are done. But her days as a wife, mother, businesswoman are ongoing.
That's right.
That's her life. Claressa hasn't even sorted that out in her own personal space. And I don't need to say any more about that. But I'll tell you one thing, it's not straight.
No.
So she really needs to take her eye off of Miss Laila Ali.
That's right.
And focus up elsewhere in her personal space. And so should you all. Because like I said before, there's plenty for you to get out here in the space and place of boxing.
That's right.
And you're missing that every freaking day. How many premieres do I put on a week? You're not there. You're not paying attention. Oh, but this has got your attention.
And they say boxing is dead, Stormy. You put out premieres every goddamn... Man, I ain't even gonna get into it. Boxing dead, though, right?
Yeah.
Ridiculous, man.
You see the foolishness?
Ridiculous.
This is what I'm talking about.
Let's go there. Let's go there. Because your live this morning was the furthest thing, the topic. And I'm gonna show y'all how y'all not paying attention, because the replay game is in your future. Did y'all know Parker versus what's his name?
Wardley.
Fabio Wardley. Y'all know they about to hit us for $60 for that fight? Let that marinate for a second. In America,
Not a fighter on the undercard that you know.
there's nobody, there's like 6 fights on that undercard, right? 6 fights. I haven't heard of any of these guys, and we watch boxing. Now, we have DAZN. It's airing on DAZN, right, Stormy?
Yeah.
I bought DAZN because I remember when Tracy Morgan said, hey, pay-per-view is dead. Remember that? Now I got DAZN, and there's some boxing on there. There was even small cards from across the seas that were bangers. But I said, man, this is throwback. But I watch boxing. The American boxing fanatics are dumb as hell. They're telling you boxing is dead. Well, whether you have DAZN or not, if you want to watch Fabio Wardley versus Joseph Parker, you got to pay $60 to watch about 6 fights with fighters you never heard of, and half of you don't even know who the hell Fabio Wardley is. $60 American. So please stop talking to me about boxing being dead. Y'all not paying attention. We spoke about how, okay, Turkey started out good, but now he's befriended these business moguls, Dana White, this dude from the WWE. And we're going to be right back to square one. The difference is he wants to bankrupt the 4 sanctioning bodies. My question is, I wanted the 4 sanctioning bodies to be put on notice, either do better or get the hell out the sport, because I want people fighting for one belt, one face, one name. He got the bread to bring the talent over there, but I wanted the top competition. That's what I wanted. But now you telling me I got to pay $60 on top of my DAZN subscription? Y'all didn't tell me that. And guess what? Fabio Wardley versus Parker, it's not that serious. Not for $60. Now, the Riyadh season cards, he was putting together, we had the commercials for those were monster cards, but you know what? It's been done. Look up the Don King events back in the day. If you know boxing, those cards were stacked. Y'all don't know what I'm talking about. Now that, Platboy salute, now that Dana White's in it, now they're going to be spoon feeding us again and again and again. And this time, there ain't going to be no sanctioning bodies. It's going to be one belt, one face, one name, but we're going to be getting ripped off again.
Now, check this out to go along with what you're saying. All of those cards that were Riyadh before with the nice commercials and everything with the certain themes and whatnot, they got one heck of a one coming up in November and they ain't got a commercial or nothing for it. And they put it on pay-per-view.
And who's on that card?
David Benavidez is taking on Anthony Yard. And Brian Norman Jr. is putting his WBO welterweight title on the line against Devin Haney.
There you go.
And that's just the co-main and main. Where you got Abdullah Mason fighting for his first world title fight on that card. And a couple of other good fights on there as well. So it's a pay-per-view worthy type thing, but we were told that there were not going to be any more Riyadh season pay-per-views.
See how they
Just
do
a
us?
couple months ago, we were told that.
Y'all paying attention or no? Y'all paying attention? Boxing dead though, right? It's getting killed right in front of us. Right in front of us. Now, I appreciated what Turkey Al-Sheikh is doing, but I also said I'm going to hold his feet to the flames when I feel he's messing up. Same thing with Al Heyman. You see, y'all cats are catching the tail end. Y'all catching the tail end when I'm holding Al Heyman accountable. I'm not on here just bashing him to bash him. I'm holding his feet to the flames like, hold on, man, where's the fights at? Where the venue at? Where's Tank Davis's 7-fight deal at? I told y'all Tank got lied to. You heard me say that. I said, you know, Tank got lied to too. I hope y'all know that. You heard me say that. I'm holding everybody accountable. I come home and I'm watching Larry Merchant talking about, is this the last we've seen of the great Black Hope? I'm like, well, never mind that. Who the fuck let him in the house and have him sit on the couch and say that? Al? Now Turkey Al-Sheikh done let Dana White in the mix. Dana White been trying to get in the boxing. And don't look now. Y'all know do y'all know what happened with the Muhammad Ali Act in California? Did y'all know about that? Y'all didn't know about that? The Muhammad Ali Act in California? Y'all, you listen, man. Do your goddamn research. Because they're going to make it so that it's not going to matter that we're talking about boxing on here. They're going to give us what they want to give us. Thank you, Jose. Go look it up. Oh, I'm sorry. If you're into the clown stuff, go follow Oscar De La Hoya. He talked about it on a Clapback Thursday or Tuesday, whatever he does. Right under your nose in California. Look it up. Look it up. Oh, boxing's dead. Y'all not paying attention. Man. But some of you niggas want Laila to come out of retirement at 50 years old to fight this woman with a she needs help, man, therapy, man. Y'all be worried about the wrong stuff. And when we get on here and try to educate you, if we're not on here cussing and screaming and fighting all over the damn panel, y'all don't want to hear it. I don't like detractors. I don't like people parading like they're black on here, but don't cut their damn camera on. And I know you watching, Yogi. I don't like any of that. We're trying to build things up. We're trying to support our community and at the same time talk up the sport of boxing. Because outside of YouTube, nobody cares about boxing. Nobody cares. We keep it alive. We've kept it alive. And it's not up for discussion. Now, this is my opinion. You ain't got to agree with it. But the bottom line is, I don't want these two queens fighting. Laila said what she said. Claressa, you're wrong, sis. You're wrong. You're wrong. And you need to apologize. And even if your ego's too big that you don't want to apologize in the public eye, just act like it ain't happened. I don't care what they say to you. If you let strangers flood your Twitter and say, oh, you ducking. Laila said what she said, you ducking. Bullshit. Egalitarian, you entitled to your opinion. Laila is not wrong. I saw the evidence. Let the record show. And I've seen too much of Claressa running her mouth over the years. What she has is a paper trail by way of her behavior. I could beat Keith Thurman. I'll fight him with bigger gloves. What did Keith do? He entertained it for a second, like we could fight with oversized gloves, but he didn't force it. Like, man, she's a woman. How I look beating her up? You know what I would have said if he'd have took that fight? Nigga, your arm always hurt. You always injured. But you all right to fight Claressa? Stop, man. But he ain't even entertained that. Or I could beat up Jake Paul. No, you can't. Stop. Stop that. You can't beat no Jake Paul. Stop it. That's a grown-ass man. He's super bigger than you. I saw you get dropped by that white boy from Europe. I saw you get dropped. If that was a real fight, you got up off the floor. He'd have continued to whoop your ass. Stop. You're a woman. Stay in your place. Stop this. Stop. And now you crashing out on a woman that had your back, gave you pointers on how to increase your brand, and you in a better position because when Laila was coming up, there was no female boxing in the Olympics. So, Claressa, you're actually a trendsetter. Count your blessings, queen. Y'all call it hating, I call it jealousy. There's something about Laila that she don't like. And I don't want to speculate. I just say that she needs to just move on. You got space and opportunity everywhere. Everywhere. But it's a double-edged sword. You fight Laila and beat her, it does nothing for you. You fight Laila and lose, oh my God, that's probably going to be the end of you. But man, listen, I ain't going to talk about it, man. This fight don't need to happen. I'm against it. It's nonsense. They're both legendary and they're queens in their own right. Laila Ali's a wife, a mother, a businesswoman, and she's been off the radar until this shit. Getting called out by a woman that she basically mentored. Claressa, get your head in the game. Count your blessings. You're a legend. You don't need to be doing this because you could hurt yourself. What if you fight Laila and you hurt her seriously? How you gonna feel? You gonna pound on your chest? Or what? What's that gonna do? What are the agitators gonna say? Oh, well, Laila shouldn't have gotten the ring. Motherfucker, y'all called for it. Some of you were the worst. You sound just like, y'all remember over 11 years ago now, when Floyd Mayweather only wanted OSDT before he fought Pacquiao? And all the people that were Pacquiao fans, the Pactards, you know what they say? Oh, well, Floyd's defense so nice, it shouldn't matter if he's on steroids. You remember that? And I said, y'all sound so stupid. Y'all want Floyd to go in there and get killed. What is wrong with you? You're not interested in the clean sport. You just want to see this dude die. The same thing with the Ryan Garcia shit. Oh, it was only a billionth of a gram. It was in his system. That was the amount they caught. His body was operating off of that. What are y'all talking about? Just say you hate Devin and you hate Bill. Just say that. Just say you hate Floyd. Just say it. Don't partake into my chat and try to make sense of shit that don't make sense. It was on a ban list. It wasn't supposed to be there. Who the fuck inject? Can you measure a billionth of a gram to inject it into your arm? Can you measure that? Why y'all act like y'all don't know how this works? Oh, I can't unsee the left hook. Oh, you mean the PD left hook? And we know for certain it was the Pez now because he got in there with Rolly and made Rolly look like a boxing savant. Huh? You guys are the worst. And you're the same type of guys that want to see these sisters fight. You're the worst. The absolute worst. Now, what they decide to do is up to them. I'm telling you that I'm against this shit. And I'm going to land my plane right there. Stormy, let them know how they can find you, good brother. I ain't going to second part of that bullshit.
They don't care where to find me. They've shown me.
Move! Why are you gay?
Who says I'm gay?
You are gay.